Hello dear students, welcome again to your social science class. Today the chapter that I'm going to explain is chapter 15, Land of Diversity. Okay, and this chapter is Land of Diversity in India. Alright, so the first is diversity and its type. Alright, I missed out one word, so I'll write it India. Don't get confused. We are not discussing about any other country. We are talking about India. Okay. So first is diversity. All right. Why diversity in India is because in India we have 28 states and 9 union territories. And all these 28 states and 9 union territories, they speak different language and different dialects. Now in these 28 states and 9 union territories, again it is divided into so many districts. And in some of these districts, again, they speak one or not only one, but 2 or more dialects in one district. So altogether, it becomes 22 language and 1,600 dialects. Okay, remember 22 languages and 1,600 dialects. That is why India becomes a diverse country. All right. And not only in languages, but there are so many types of diversity. Okay, I'll be explaining to you in detail. Some are diversity on the basis of family structure, diversity in living styles, diversity in regional, and diversity in economic activities. So let me start with diversity in family structures. All right. Now here in India, we have 2 types of family. One is the joint family and the other one is nuclear family. So in a joint family, along with the father and the mother, their children and their grandparents also live in a family. So there is a big number of people in a house, all right? That is joint family. Coming to nuclear family is father, mother and their children and no other person in their family. So usually this nuclear family will be found in cities and towns, whereas these joint family are very common in villages. Also in some towns and cities also there are joint family, but it is mostly found in the villages. All right. Now in this family structure, usually the father is the head of the family. All right. But in some places in India like Kerala, and also in Meghalaya, all right, the women are also the head of the family. They used to take the decision, all right. So such family structure exists in India, okay. So that is what makes India a diverse country, all right. Now coming to the next one, that is diversity in language. I've already explained to you that there are 22 languages and 1,600 dialects in India, right. So these people speak different languages and different dialects, right? And it becomes difficult for them to communicate with one another, right? So because of this diversity in languages and dialects, India cannot unite among themselves, all right? That makes them different from one another, all right? They always differentiate themselves. Sometimes discriminations also come up based on languages because one person 2-3 people who speak the same languages unite together and they tend to discriminate the other group, right? So that is one of the diversity in India, all right? Then coming to the third one, that is diversity in living styles, all right? So in India, there are Indian families who live their lives differently. Some of the people, they follow the caste system, where there are high caste and low caste, and in some of the families they join together and work for the earning, right? Whereas in some families the whole families are working in offices. So there are diverse qualities even in the living styles, all right? So so diversity under living styles, this diversity also takes place because of their religion. Like for example, there are certain religions who doesn't prefer their women to wear certain clothes. Like for example, in Islam community, right, the women have to cover their themselves with a black cloth, and that is their culture, right? Whereas in some culture, they they allow the women to wear those colorful clothes during their traditional occasions, during their festivals. And sometimes in living styles, there is diverse habits in eating habits, all right? Like, for example, some of the families, they eat fish, some of the family, they go for beef, whereas some go for pork. This all comes because of their beliefs, religious beliefs, because and whereas some family doesn't like the fish because it is against their cultural norms, right? So even the lifestyles, okay, makes the Indian citizens different from one another, all right? Then coming to regional differences. Now, some of the Indians, they came from a smaller region, whereas some of the Indians, they came from a larger region, right? And these regional differences also makes them different from one another. Like, for example, some of them came from mountainous regions, so they have a different kind of lifestyle, right? And some of them, they came from the foothills of the mountains, so their lifestyle is different again. And some of them, they came from a desert area, like those from the Gujarat and Rajasthan sides, right? So likewise, every Indian citizens, they also have different lifestyles and diversities, even based on the regional differences, all right? Then next is economic activities. In India, some of these citizens are involved in trading, some of them are involved in business, while some are involved in offices, right? So they have diversity in economy, right? So under this economy, India is considered as the 7th largest country in the world. Okay, India is considered the 7th largest country in the world, even in terms of economy, all right? Now we have handicraft industry, we have big industries, small industries, and all these people, they work differently. They have different position in a workplace, all right? Some of them work as a laborer, some of them take care of the whole management. So there are diversities even in their workplace, and that comes under economic activities, all right? Then in some cases, because of these economic activities, because of the diversity in economic activities, some of the people really suffer because they suffer from hunger, poverty, whereas some of them, they reach a very rich and filthy lifestyles, right? So that also creates an imbalance and brings up differences in India, okay? So remember, under the diversity and its types, we had diversity in family structure, that is joint family and nuclear family. We had diversity in language. There are 622 languages and 1,600 dialects, right? Then we have diversity in living styles, where some of them live their life according to their religion, according to their cultural norms, all right? And then there is diversity in terms of region, right? Where some of them live in mountains, some in plains, while some in desert and some in lakes, okay? So we also have diversity in economic activities, where some of them work as laborers, while some of them are the owners of this whole industry, all right? So next is unity in diversity. So right now I've explained to you about the different types of diversities in India, right? Though we have so many diversities in India, Indian citizens, they still live together in unity, all right? And coming to unity, there are different classifications. One is unity in geographical area, unity in political, unity in culture, and unity in religions. So the first one is unity in geographic areas, okay? So as I've already mentioned that in India we have mountainous regions, plateaus are there, plains are there, right? And we also have desert areas. So though we have these different geographical areas in India, we still live together in unity, because in some geographical areas like plateaus, we get the mineral deposits, right? And the other states, they depend on this goods which are found in these plateaus, all right? Similarly, those coffees and cottons which are grown in the hilly areas and in the plain areas are distributed to other states in India, right? So though they have different geographical features, they still depend on one another, and that gives them the sense of unity, all right? Next is political unity. So under this political unity, the citizens of India, though they have different races, caste systems are there, though they have differences in their region, in their habits, right? Yet they all follow one political norms. That is, they all follow the guidelines which are given by the constitution, all right? The rights of the rights of the citizens, the duties of the citizens, everything is same. Like for example, if there is right to equality in the North India, the same right to equality is applied even in the southern India, all right? And if the freedom of expression is given to the people staying in Maharashtra, the same freedom of expression is given to the West Bengal, people in West Bengal, right? So there is equality, there is unity in political background as well, okay? Next is unity in culture. So as I have already told you that there are 28 states and 9 union territories. All these states and 9 union territories have different cultural norms, whether it's their dressing style or whether it's their food habits. And sometimes these food habits and dressing styles also depend because of their weather, okay? Because in some of the Indian states, the weather is very hot. Some of them live in a very cold area, like the people in Jammu and Kashmir, they wear thick clothes, right? And they also eat a different kind of food, whereas the people in the south, they live in very hot areas, and their main ingredient is coconut, right? So though they have different cultures in their food habits or in their dressing style, yet they live in unity. And the most interesting thing about this culture is that the people in India, they love to try one another's culture, and they also like to practice one another's culture, or would like to taste one another's cultural foods, the varieties of cultural attires that are available, right? So that makes them unite, okay? Next is religious unity. So in India there are so many religions. We have Islam, we have Hinduism, Christians, Buddhism, Jainism, Zoroastrians. So all these religions, they used to follow different beliefs, okay? They have different practices, they have different places where they go and worship. So sometimes there are religious clashes as well. However, in spite of those clashes and differences, there are unity. The Indian country, they live together in unity, though there are different religious, okay? And this is all because there is unity in there is unity in politics, right? Because in constitution it lays that India should be a secular state. That means there should be no religious bias. Nobody should be discriminating one another on the basis of religion, right? So that is why there is unity in India. And sometimes there are intermarriages between the different religions also. That's why they tend to practice one another's religion, and they also respect one another's religion. Sometimes even the Hindus, okay, they used to wish one another when it's Christmas time, or even the Christians, they used to wish the Muslims when it's Eid, right? So that gives them a sense of unity, all right? Now coming to the third point, that is prejudice, discrimination, and inequality. Now in India, there are so many prejudices. So what is a prejudice? It means judging other people in negative way or thinking them as inferior, all right? So this usually happens in India, okay? So because of the regional background, because of their religion, because of their food habits, sometimes discrimination comes up, and then people try to point fingers at one another, saying bad things about their culture or about their religion, and that used to create discriminations, and it hurts the sentiments of the people, all right? And that also leads to discrimination and inequality. However, the government is trying to abolish this inequality, and in order to do that, they have laid out certain articles under the constitution to unite the people, all right? I'll read out the articles. Article 15, it says that you will not discriminate anybody in terms of their race, their religion, their caste, or their place of birth. Okay, so that is under Article 15. So whoever go against this article is a punishable law. All right, that's why every citizen of India, they have to follow these articles, and they have to respect one another, they have to honor one another, never discriminate anyone on the basis of their caste, on the basis of their religion, or the place of birth. Okay, then next is Article 16. So under Article 16, it says that every Indian citizen have equality before the law. So if you want to approach the judge, if you want to go to the court for any cases that you want to put up, you have every right to do that as a citizen of India. If you are dissatisfied with the way the country is functioning, or if you are dissatisfied with certain group of people for anything, you have every right to go to the court and get justice. Okay, so that is under Article 16. And one more is there, that is Article 17, and that gives privileges to the untouchabilities. So under Article 17, the government tried to protect this untouchability. If you don't know untouchability, they are the lowest caste in the society under the Indian caste systems. Okay, so there are high caste and the low caste, and the lowest caste, the Shudras, are considered as untouchables. Now these untouchables are not allowed to go to the public places, even to the holy temples. They are not allowed to step their foot. So this government has laid out certain rights for these people that allows them to join the public in any sort of activities or religious festivals. Okay, now this Article 17 also gives the right to these untouchabilities to get education, to work in any offices, or also to go to any other parts of India. Okay, so they will not be stopped, but they will also be treated equally. Okay, so in India there is a lot of inequality. Okay, because some of them have become so rich, some of them are quite poor, so there is imbalance, there is inequality. However, the government is also trying its best to improve the lives of these weaker sections of the society. All right, by giving them rights, by giving them some funds, okay, where they are provided free educations, like for example in government schools, where they are given a free education till the age of 14, and then in also in some institutions or in some workplace, they are given some few reservations. Reservation is a seat for them, okay, where these untouchables or the lower sections of the society, they can also join in the workplace or in the educational institutions depending on their choices. Okay, so see, here we have seen so many diversities in India, right? There are so many differences in India in terms of religion, in terms of family structure, in terms of regional, in terms of regions, right? However, India have they live in unity despite the differences, okay, and that makes India a very unique and a very beautiful country in the world. All right, so that's all about India, land of diversity. I'll see you soon with another lesson. Till then, take care and keep studying.